I think we're recording. Hi guys, it's KJ from Forward Life Coaching, and I do these series. I've been doing this series of interviews with former NCAA athletes to talk a little bit about their journey to where they are now, some of the opportunities, impasses, and of course successes along the way to their to triumph. So today I have Kyvin Goodin Rogers on in the interview that I'm interviewing with for the Zoom. Boy, I'm getting tongue-tied. So Kyvin has a phenomenal story. Our paths cross in several ways, and I can't wait until she starts to tell you a little bit about what's about her journey and what her story is. So a little bit about Kyvin. Kyvin is from Campbellsville, Kentucky. Am I correct?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, tell me, what is it?
No, because everybody's confused because I was born in Louisville, raised in Campbellsville, but I went to school in Marion County. So everybody's like, well, where are you from? So I just say all three, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Campbellsville, right? Campbellsville's home.
Campbellsville home? Okay, cool.
Campbellsville's home.
So she's from Campbellsville, Louisville, and Marion County. She's from all three. At the age of 5, she fell in love with basketball and started to play, which I want to ask her a little bit about that too. Then after she began to play basketball, at age 11, she transferred to Marion County schools, to the larger school system, I'm guessing. No, you just moved?
Not at all.
Oh,
not the largest.
Wait, you said it is or is not the largest?
It's not the largest. The only reason why I went there is because my cousin, we're like basically like sisters. Like I'm my mom's only kid, but and my cousin, we're like sisters. We're always together. And she had transferred schools on me. Went to Marion County, which is like 15 minutes away from Campbellsville. And I was like, she just left me here by myself. I'm not staying by myself. Like we've always been together. Like, what am I gonna do? So like that's the reason I went to Marion County. It's kind of weird.
So cool. So you have like your bestie cousin. Bestie cousin.
I left after 6th grade. So yeah.
Cool. So she at age 11, she transferred to Marion County schools. While there, she in middle school, she her team won several. Her team was undefeated at one time, and they won.
We never lost in middle school.
Never, not one game. Get it? It doesn't say that, but that is. Oh wait, undefeated seasons. So I meant more than one season. I got it. Okay, so she had undefeated seasons in school, never lost a game. And they have state titles. They won state titles
in middle school and high school.
Middle school and high school. And then she moved on to high school. In high school, she actually played volleyball and basketball. In high school, her team won the district and regional titles. They have 4 appearances in the Kentucky High School AA.
KHSAA.
Okay.
In my high school, we never lost district. We never lost region from freshman year all the way to senior year. And then my senior year, we went 39-0, I think. Yeah,
yes, 39-0. You were 39-0. You were 39-0. You were undefeated. And you had a perfect record, and you were number 44 in the nation. Your school's number 44 in the nation.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4 in the nation?
We should have been we really should have been number 1. But we are a small town and a small school, and you know how politics works.
You couldn't get the votes, probably. But it said number 44. Okay, so number 4. So in high school, I said she played basketball and she played volleyball. And her senior year in volleyball, she won all team honors. She had 35 aces, 181 kills, 102 blocks, 33 digs.
That was in 2 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
where'd you find that?
I don't know. Is it 2 years or 1 year? Because it says you were nominated your senior year.
I only played volleyball my junior and senior year.
So, well, you were good because you made honorable mention. So that was good. ESPN said play in her scouts report. It said that she received a 93 grade. And they said she's playing well, solid, nice off side post option. Good at the 4, not flashy, just gets the job done. I love that. Just gets the job done. Right?
That's very true.
Yeah. So maybe you were there before Nike. No, I'm just kidding. So then after that, and at that time, in high school, she was a 6'1" senior, right? So Then after high school, she went on to college. She went on to University of Kentucky. And the University of Kentucky had a couple of NCAA appearances while she was there. And then after that, after she was there for 2 years, she transferred to Western Kentucky. And at Western Kentucky, they won the 2017 CUSA conference tournament, right? And then she spent her last semester, which was an additional semester at Union University, and they won the Gulf South Conference South Region Championship. They made a Final Four appearance in the NCAA D2 national tournament.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. And
that was by the grace of God, because my knees were done.
I got a little bit more of me. Come on, Lord. I got a little bit more. So a couple of things after college, she's an entrepreneur. She actually has a skills clinic that she has available, and she will talk a little bit about her upcoming session on May 29th. She has Kyvin, and there are masks, there are phone grips, there are headbands, there's t-shirts. And then also, she's an author. She's a 2-time author, and she will talk to you a little bit about her books as we move forward. So once again, Kai, welcome.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, and wait. This is not in the facts or anything like that, but you are the TikTok queen. We have got to do a TikTok together. I am so like, you name it. I lost all my TikTok videos. I don't know where they are, but I saw your videos and I was like, I am so inspired.
I used to think that was so stupid. And then I used to think TikTok was so stupid. Like my kids were like, you should get TikTok. I'm like, that's dumb. And then quarantine happened. And then with the week into quarantine, I was like, let me see what TikTok's about. And then I don't know what happened.
Oh my God. Look, when I used to teach, the funniest thing is I would tell my students, I say, look, if you get your work done, if everybody in class gets their work done, there cannot be one person without their assignment done. If everybody gets their work done, the last 10 minutes of class, you can have the 10 minutes to talk on your phone, or you can have the 10 minutes to do a TikTok. And so they would like teach me the TikTok dance. They were like, oh my God, Miss Jones, we're gonna do. So there would be kids that would actually, like when I would come back to the school, there would be kids that would run down there and be like, oh my God, Miss Jones, 6th period, I have this, and we're coming to your room, we're gonna do TikTok. Do you have a class? Da, 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 da. So yeah, so I became the TikTok substitute. And so like all the
that's funny,
really popular TikTok people would ask me to join them. So talking about joining and working with people on something you really, really like. Kyvin's dad is pretty famous. He is the Tik Rogers. And a little bit about Tik. He went to Louisville, right? And he played under Rick Pitino. And while there, he was, they said that he was.
No, he played under, he's gonna kill me. He didn't play Rick was at UK then. He played under, what in the world? This can't be real life.
I didn't see Rick Pitino's name there. I thought that was kind of strange. But
yeah, not Rick Pitino. He's at UK then.
There he was, he actually was won the third most steals in the history of University of Louisville, according to a 2012 report. And he was the number 24 basketball player in Louisville's history, according to that report. They had the top 50 and he was number 24.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah. It was the 2012 Bleacher Report article. And I listened to him in a 2019 interview at a sports clinic, and he said that the one thing that he learned in college was to be humble. He was talking about the difference in playing in high school and playing in college. So with all that being said, I'm quite sure you were introduced to basketball at a very, very early age. How were you introduced?
You know, the normal way, the ball's around the house, you pick it up. And I mean, my mom was pregnant with me, didn't know she was pregnant, and playing basketball, she was playing street ball. But I mean, the whole family plays basketball. My Uncle Clem, he played for the Chicago Bulls. He played for Western Kentucky. He coached at Minnesota, some other places he played. So I mean, like I look left, I look right, I look up, I look down. Somebody in the family has a basketball somewhere.
While other people at their family reunions are playing Scrabble, you're at your family reunion playing basketball.
We're outside the cookout playing basketball, talking crap.
Really, really. So what age were you when you got to talk crap? What age were you when you said, I got this?
Well, you know, having uncles and stuff, they teach you really early. So, I mean, you might talk smack at 7 years old and you don't know what you're doing.
I'm coming back. I just need to go get some water.
That's why I say you got that one. I'll be right back. I got the next one.
And Kyvin, she's still getting water. We need to check the water bill. We thought she was coming back.
No, I made you can't stay gone long or you get punked out, and you can't be a punk.
Okay. Did you play against your dad?
We haven't physically played, but we have like played horse and stuff. He won't. He knows he can probably beat me. He knows he can beat me on horse sometimes, but he knows he can't beat me on the court right now because he's a little dusty.
Oh, so you talking smack right now?
Oh, and
Dad, I hope you're listening.
at least twice a week, somebody brings up something. We end up arguing about horse or something, and like his backyard, there's this basketball goal. Okay, like everybody has their own the basketball goal. So you're used to that basketball goal, even if it's a little rinky dink. Okay, so the last time he actually played with me on a real basketball court, I was in a knee brace, and he beat me in horse. I'm like, dude, I was out of surgery in a knee brace. He's like, no, it was the last time on the real court. I'm like, yes, it is. So I had my stepmom vouch for me. She's like, yeah, dude, she was in a knee brace.
Like, I would have stepped out after the second basket. I would call for a substitute.
I keep telling him to go to a real court. I got keys to the gym, but you know, he's hitting age. I'm gonna leave him alone.
He might be scared now.
He nervous. I do know that. He won't show it, but I know he's nervous.
So you guys were playing basketball when you were younger, you know, and you're 11 years old and you're transferring to the new school. When you're transferring to the new school, are you playing basketball at the new school as well? 6th grade?
When I transferred after 6th grade, so 7th grade, yes, I'm playing basketball. And actually during that, like growing up, I didn't play basketball with my dad at all. Like he really wasn't around because he was still playing pro basketball himself. So people's like, I bet you and your dad, like, no, I really didn't have that. People think my dad developed me. I'm like, no. Like,
really? So where was he playing basketball then?
He was over Israel.
Okay, so I didn't know he played overseas. Okay.
Yeah, he played for I think 10 years. So like he played up until I was like in 8th grade.
Wow. So did you ever go overseas to see him play?
I couldn't. I was like, I had basketball all year round. Like once middle school stopped, I went play straight to high school. And high school stopped, I went and played AAU. By the time AAU stopped, I got maybe a couple weeks off, and then it was time for middle school again up until I got to high school. So I was a very busy kid.
So you played basketball all throughout, like every season? So how did you cross train?
How did I what?
How did you cross train then if you were always playing basketball?
For volleyball?
Volleyball? No. So if you're always playing basketball, you're like always using kind of like the same muscles. So how did you cross train, or did you cross train or no? Did you cross train with another sport? No?
I mean, I played volleyball when the volleyball season came, but like I didn't take volleyball serious at all. So I didn't train for volleyball. It was nothing but basketball all my life.
Wow.
I mean, I played volleyball was just for me, because by sophomore, junior year, I was getting that feeling like, you know, sometimes you get that, it's like that, okay, is this what I want to do? So I played volleyball just to give me a distraction, to give me a break from just playing straight basketball all the time. And that's the only reason why I played it.
So what were you thinking with basketball when you were playing? Were you thinking like, I want to play in the WNBA? Were you thinking like, this is just kind of cool, I want to do a clinic because I like teaching other people, or this is just social?
When I was in 6th grade, I was in love with Candace Parker. I think she's at Tennessee then. It might have been 5th grade. It might have been 5th grade. I don't know. She's at Tennessee, and I always watched her game. And I was like, you know, and then I watched her go to WNBA. And I was like, they're like, my family don't come. Like there's some people with money, but like my immediate family, like we don't come for much money. So I was like, I want to go play WNBA. I want to go make that money. And as you get older, you realize, okay, at the time, as I'm coming out, like WNBA it's only $40,000. And I'm thinking like, okay, you done had 2 knee surgeries. You probably need 1 more. You're breaking up. So my main goal, like, just, so when I got to college, I was like, okay, I will go play WNBA for a couple of years if I can, if my knees allow me to, or if I get, if I go overseas or whatever the situation is. But, that didn't happen. But like in high school, my main goal was basically play college basketball, but graduate, because I was going to be the first one in my immediate family to like have a education in college. Wow. But I guess I motivated my mother, and she just had to be a hater and come snatch it from me with like literally, I think my sophomore year, she busted her butt and got it done, because she was pregnant with me, so she couldn't get it done. So while I was in college, she finished 2 years before I did, I think.
Wow.
So she actually beat me to it. I thought I was gonna get it, but she got it. So, but I'm just glad she got it, because since 19 years old, she's been taking care of me. She never did anything for herself. It's always been for me and what I needed in life. So my main goal was just make sure I get to college and not make my parents have to pay for college, and whatever comes after that, I'll be thankful for. But that sounds easy until it actually happens and things go wrong and you're like depressed and devastated and mad at the world. But
what happened? What you said things happened?
My knees. My whole situation with my knees not being treated properly, and
so you were in a lot of knee pain.
Yes. And I had knee surgery done. Well, actually, I've been asking to get my knee looked at, and being whatever, I don't know. Nobody wants to listen or get whatever the situation is. So I went and got my knee doctor, and brought my results back and told them like, this is wrong with my knee and it needs to be done. Like, please help me now. Like, I've been asking for like at least 4 months. Like, I'm like, something's got to give. And so I get the surgery done, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks afterwards, no, 4 weeks afterwards, we start doing like little exercises, getting back on the court, and it still hurts the same exact way. And, I tell them that, but nobody listens. So I keep playing and keep practicing like nothing's wrong. I mean, physically you can see something's wrong, but me being me, like, all right, if you don't listen, then I'm just gonna keep going. And then I'm a little stubborn. Like, I'm that player. Like, I really want to play, so I'm gonna play through it if I'm not gonna get looked at type situation. And eventually, I decided to transfer. When I decided to transfer, got looked at again. And I told the coach, I was like, honestly, coach, I don't know if I can make it or not, but I do want to come to you because you've been there since day one, like through my whole recruiting process. You've been somebody I can trust. And at this point, I'm not going to a school, I'm going to somebody I can trust. And that's why I chose WKU, because of Michelle Clark Hurd. And when I got there, they told me that my knee surgery was halfway done.
Well, but let me ask you this. Do you think that possibly athletes a lot of times have a higher pain threshold? Again,
I know I do.
I will tell you this, because I really wanted to talk about your pulmonary embolism. Mm-hmm. I wanted to, I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. This is a free space, but I really wanted to talk about that, because I think that a lot of times athletes and individuals who have kind of that thicker skin, people don't see the depth of the pain that they may be going through.
Like for my blood clot situation, I was a freshman then, and it was fresh. So like graduation was like May 24th, and I had to move on to campus by like June 3rd, something like that. So it was like a quick transition. So, as a freshman coming in, people are thinking, oh, they're freshmen, they're gonna be strong enough, blah, blah, blah. But little do they know, I had already had that coach, a college coach in high school, like basically, like, he didn't cut us no slack. He was hard. Everything was hard. Nothing was easy. Like, if you wanted, you had to go work for it type situation. And in the summertime, for people who don't know, like, summertime's hard. Like, it's individuals, it's class, It's not only individuals, you got weights, not only you got weights, you got to go to the football field and work out with the whole team. Like, it's a lot. And so I don't know if they thought that, okay, she's a freshman, she's being soft, like whatever the situation is. But I remember saying my chest is hurting, and they looked at me and told me, oh, you're just out of shape. I've not been out of shape, and I couldn't tell. At this point, I hadn't been out of shape for, I don't know, like I played from January to December. Like at that point, there's no way I'm out of shape. Like, so I kept telling them, and then Todd kept going by, and then we had like team pictures or something. I'm like, dude, you look ghost. Like and then mom called me like, why? You look pale. Are you okay? And I'm like, I mean, my chest hurts, but it only hurts when I breathe in. She's like, okay. So like time goes on and I keep working out. I'm still like literally like from June all the way to I think our 3 or 4 days before our very first ball game. So from June to then, like I'm having this blood clot apparently. And
what?
So for like basically from like July, from like this time, from like the July time, I'm having chest pains up until like our very first game, which is like November. So July, August, September, like 3-4 months. I'm basically having some pains.
And I guess you're having right now is chest pains, nothing else.
Nothing. I mean, I'll be tired, but that was it. But I mean, I thought that I was just tired from all the workouts. So I'm like, okay, come on, toughen up, get some energy, get some food, eat healthy, let's go. And so, time keeps going on, huh?
No. So I was gonna ask you. So did you change your diet?
I mean, my diet was already good. Like I don't understand. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a new system you're adjusting to. Because at this point, like I've told them my chest is hurting. I've explained. They're putting me on a heart monitor. I'm still telling them my heart. They're like, well, your heart's fine. You've been on a heart monitor for 2 weeks. You're fine. Like there's nothing wrong with you.
So what is the heart monitor? Is that the thing, like the stress test that you take home?
Yeah, you put on your chest and you put it on, and it's the little sticky thing with jiggers.
I did that.
So I had that, and then I had to keep it on all day long and practice and play stuff and all that through it. And I'm like,
did you have to journal each time? Did you have to journal each time it went off? So mine,
the system tracked it for me.
Oh, well, I forgot. I'm a little bit older. I was there when Noah built the ark. So
no.
Don't put my name in that book. That's why you don't see my name. No, I'm just kidding. But mine was like every time it went off, I had to journal it. Like I had to journal the time. I had to journal what I was doing, so that they could have a record of why it was going off and when it was going off. But anyway, I'm sorry. So you were.
I mean, maybe I was, but so like. One night it just hits me in my sleep, and I'm just like, I just raised by the bed. I'm like gasping for air, and I'm like, and I'm breathing in, and I try to breathe in, like it literally just cuts me off. I can't fully breathe all the way in because it hurts so bad it cuts me off. And so I grab my inhaler beside my bed and like take like literally 10 puffs. I'm like, just keep going. And then I inhale again. I'm like, okay, it's still there. So I said, I'm gonna lay back down because like within like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I gotta get anyways. We have practice like 7 o'clock or something like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna lay back down until it goes away. Well, then I raise up because the alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh my god. And then my teammate comes out her room, and she's like, we're getting breakfast out of the kitchen, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, my chest is hurting. She's like, tell the trainer. I said, for what? I've already told her. I've been telling them the whole time. I've been telling coach. I've been telling the trainer that my chest is hurting, and they're not doing nothing about it. So what's the point of telling again? So she's like this New York girl, and she's like, well, you know what? We're going over there. Not today. No, today they're going, like, she's like, and we're like literally like speed walking through the parking lot. I'm like, girl, like you make me breathe harder. It's hurting. Like, chill out. So I get over there, and I go to the locker room. I change. I go to the weight room, get ready to lift the weights. And then here comes my teammate, Jalea, and she's like, her stuff on. She's like, it's time for you to go. Courtney wants you. And I'm like, looking like, I'm like, she's like, come here. And the trainer's like, come to me, blah, blah, blah. And I go to the training room. She's like stretching me out. She's like, does this hurt? Does this hurt? And I'm like, nothing hurts. That's the only time it hurts when I breathe in. So then she's like, give me like 30 minutes to get your teammates settled before they go to practice, leave weights to go to practice. And then we'll go to the hospital. And we ride up to the hospital, and they put me through this machine, put this little like ink stuff, make you feel like you pee on yourself. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I know what you said. MRI with contrast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They did mine for my brain, and it felt like a whip was going through my brain. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, I told him, look, you got to stop. I said, "But we
Yeah,
can't."
I didn't get that, thank God.
I was trying to
But
negotiate everything.
so yeah, I didn't get that. So then I go back to, you know, back to my regular college duties, and I go to the coach's office because I had a coach's meeting, assistant coach meeting at that time anyway. So I went and met with him. He asked what happened. I told him everything, how I got tests done, and I was getting ready to walk out of his office to go to my tutor session or class. I think it was tutor session. It might have been an individual. I don't even know. And all I remember is the doctor calls me and was like, we need you to come back to the hospital right now. And it's kind of urgent. And I'm just looking like, so I'm just grabbing my stuff casually and still talking to him. And I'm going to the trainer and I'm like, he thinks I have a blood clot. And she's like, okay, but let's get in the car, let's go. And like, she's like rushing. And I'm really like being not like, I mean, after this point in time, I'm like, I don't think I'm at risk anything because everybody's been saying you're fine. So I'm like, you know, get in the car. So
athletes have that higher pain threshold. So sometimes, like, I know that if I look at something and I might be like, oh my God, that's like a 3. I mean, that's like a 7. You might look at it and be like, that's a 3 because you've already been through so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've already had the bumps, the bruises, and all that other kind of stuff.
And then they also said blood clot. I was thinking like, I didn't think it was serious at this point. Cause I mean, if that's the case, I've been living with it so far. So, I mean, it's not that bad, right? Well, it gets better. So I get in the car with her and we go to the hospital, and I didn't know I was getting admitted to the hospital, but I got admitted to the hospital. And I'm calling my mom. I'm like, hello, I have a blood clot. I'm getting put in the hospital. And she goes, you have a what? And she's like freaking out. I'm just like, chill out. I'm good. I just have a blood clot. I'm going to the hospital and I'll be done. That's literally what I told her. Like, it was that calm. And I go in the hospital and they're like, you're not leaving. And I'm like, and they explain everything that's happened to me. And they say, we got to give you 2 shots in the stomach. And they said, oh my God. And then they go, well, from here on out, you have to get, for a week straight, you have to get a shot in your stomach every 12 hours. And that was the most, I was never afraid of shots. I could take a shot. I mean, I got like 7 tattoos, like whatever. But that shot in the stomach was something new to me. Like, that really messed me up mentally for every 12 hours for a week. Like, that was like, it really messed me up. But what really messed me up most was like, nobody was listening. And you're going to tell me I'm not going hard and I'm being soft, or I'm not trying. But I've only been on this campus for like 4 months. You don't even know me. So like, that's another problem I have. Like, how can you tell somebody what's wrong with them or what's going on with them if you don't even know them? They've only been here for 2 or 3 months. You still don't know them. All you know about me is my stats and what I did on the court. That's it.
Kyvin, you know what? Let me tell you something. You're talking about you as a basketball player. I'm talking about me as a person. I mean, well, we're both person. We're both, but I'm just saying, I'm not the basketball player, hero. I'm just an everyday person. And for me, it's the same thing. I mean, I understand that clinicians can only use the technology that they have and work on the experience that they've worked with in the past. So your case was probably something very new to them. So they're just working on what they know has worked in the past. And for me, my scenario was that is similar. I have a cerebral aneurysm, which was coiled and stented. And basically, I was teaching Bible study, and I was using the Bible and the concordance, and I was going back and forth with all this reading, and the words started to get blurred. And I said, something's not right. And I went to the doctors, and they were like, oh, you're fine. You need eye drops, you need glasses, you need this. So I was doing all that other kind of stuff. I went for an eye exam, I went for eye drops, etc. But the words were still blurred. And I was like, this is not working. And I felt bad because I did not have the same whatever to finish the assignment for my kids. And so I went back to the doctor and I said, nothing's working. I said, can I please have an MRI or a CAT scan? I need them to look at my brain. I said, my maternal aunt died of an aneurysm. My maternal uncle died of an aneurysm. And my maternal grandfather died of an aneurysm. My paternal uncle died of an aortic aneurysm. So the other 3 were cerebral, and that was aortic. So I have it on both sides of my family, and aneurysms are hereditary. And so their response to me was, well, no. So I'm from New Jersey. I'm like that aggressive friend that you're talking about. And so I kept pushing. And then finally she said, okay, we'll let you take a CAT scan. I went to get the CAT scan. And then I think they also gave me an MRI. I can't remember if they were back to back, but I went to get the CAT scan and I went to get the MRI. And I came, and then they didn't call me. She didn't call me. She didn't say anything, you know. And so I was like, God, this is taking a while. And I called and she said, well, yeah. She said, you do have an aneurysm. It's the size of a 4. And I said, well, you know, what can they do? She said, well, there's really nothing they can do. She said, but I'll give you a neurologist. So I went to the neurologist, and for 6 Fridays in a row, 6, right? Like Sesame Street, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was in the hospital, right? I had the CAT scan with, not the MRI with contrast dye, etc. And the last time I was there, they had me in the hospital. I was on a bedpan. I wasn't able to move or anything. Like, they had me all hooked up and everything. And the doctor said, he said, we can't do anything. We're waiting for it to burst. And I started to look up to find out, you know, what does that mean? And there's a 50% fatality rate with it bursting. So I asked him to give me some doctors. So he gave me a doctor in Arizona, a couple other ones, and my ex-husband found one in Philadelphia. And I went to the doctor in Philadelphia because he didn't want me, you know, they didn't want to spend the money on the flight and that kind of stuff. We're trying to find something cheaper. So I went to the doctor in Philadelphia, and I was in the office. And so I'm sorry, we sent him my lab results at noon on Tuesday. 4 o'clock, they told me I need to be there Wednesday at 7 a.m. So, and that's like a, you know, 10-hour drive, 12-hour drive. So I was like, you know, I'm doing laundry, you know, high pain threshold. Like, you know, I don't know why they're so worried. It's just a little vision problem, but whatever, da, 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 da. So, like, I'm literally doing laundry, going out to get the kids stuff, etc. until midnight. We leave at midnight, driving to, or, you know, before midnight, whatever, driving to Philadelphia. When we get to Philadelphia, I go in to meet with the doctor. The doctor looked at my scan and he said, well, we need you to stay overnight. I said, well, can I go get some meat? Because I was taking care of everybody else. I'm kind of hungry right now. He's like, no, ma'am, you can't. I said, well, I just want to go to, like, you know, McDonald's. I can go, you know, it's Philly. I know I have to go out of the city, but can I just go get, you know, a hamburger or something? He was like, no. And so, you know, well, I guess it would have been a sausage sandwich because it was the morning, but whatever. So he said, no. He walked outside the room, right? And he said to the nurse, he said, admit her now, her aneurysm could burst at any moment. So I realized from that, and so there's 3 types of aneurysm. There's one that looks like a balloon, and that's the one that just gets like a coil. Then there's one that looks like a U, like the omega U. And that one gets coiled and stented. It gets pushed in and it gets coiled. And then there's a third one, which is, you know, which is more fatal. So during that time period, though, during those 6 weeks, I went from a balloon to an omega.
Like,
so my aneurysm had increased drastically over those 6 weeks. So I could not be here today.
Yeah. Actually, they told me when I went in the hospital and was there for an hour or 2, they were like, if you waited 24 more hours, you've been dead.
Wow.
Because it was almost to my heart.
What are you thinking when you hear that?
I was mad. I'm mad because it's our freshman year of college and I just busted my butt through this whole pain and now I can't play. It's 3 days before our first game. I was mad.
Did you think about other people's expectations of you? Like, you know,
yeah,
they're expecting you to go and play.
I don't like letting nobody down, and I don't even want to let myself down. So like I busted my butt to even get there, and now I can't even touch the floor.
And so what I was going to say to you is, I think, and I could be wrong based on what people are saying, is that there isn't the technology or the expertise out there for a lot of those scenarios. Like sometimes people only have a portion of the analysis. They don't have the totality of the analysis. So like when I went to UNC, they had what had worked for them in the past. There were 3 areas or 3 neurologists that actually specialized in this and did more intense work with it. So when I got to Philadelphia, I was working with Dr. Wasserman, who was one of like the top 5, Rosenwasser, I think his name is. I don't know. I love him. He's phenomenal. He looks like Henry Winkler, but he was one of the top, I think it was like one of the top 3 in the nation. So when I went to him, he was ready. And sometimes, once again, like I said, we're just in environments where people don't have access to the knowledge or have the experience. I look at it, yeah, I could get pissed off that, UNC didn't do that, etc. But I'm also grateful because God took me through that scenario, brought me to Philadelphia, and now I have a testimony. So if I had just gone to Philadelphia the first time, then I would never know that there are people out there that are not getting or don't have access to the information.
Yeah.
So now, because I went through that scenario, I understand, look, there are certain schools, there's certain programs, there's certain kids. Think about this. Think about this. If you had not gone to college, right? If nobody had rushed you to the hospital for that doctor's appointment, because you're at home, even though you're complaining, your parents, whoever, they may not have said it's that big of a deal, whatever, just get in shape or whatever. If you were in a different environment, you may not even had access to that particular service or that particular hospital. A lot of bad things happen to good people, and there are a lot of things in my life that, when I tell other people, they're like, I'm mad for you.
Yeah, but
I'm mad for you.
At that time, I was a freshman. I wasn't even in that state of mind. I'm not where I am today. I'm not thinking like, I was not thinking nowhere near where I'm thinking I am today, like at all. So like, then I was mad. I was just mad. Like, there was no looking at the others. It was just, wow, I bust. Like, I mean, now I look at that way, but then no. And plus, during that time, 2 more girls had got a blood clot actually, and they played college basketball. And one of the girls actually got to still play after she sat out. I think she sat out for a month or maybe, and she still got to play. And it was just confusing, like how everybody's situation was different. And I think one of them had a blood clot in the lung too. I think it was like literally 1, 2, 3 back to back.
Wow.
And her name's Nita Slaughter. I'm pretty sure it was her. She's played because she's at Louisville. Then it was her.
And like I said, it could depend on the resources, because where you were, they may have had the shot, but where somebody else was, they may have been able to do plasma exchange. And we all know that if you do plasma exchange and you flush out those toxins or whatever materials that have actually clogged clog that pulmonary area, then you can actually get beyond the pulmonary embolism sooner. But once again, sometimes people don't have the resources and the technology at hand to do it. Like some practices are evolving. So what Dr. Rosenwasser was able to do, they didn't necessarily have it at every single university. And some of the experiments that he has access to, they don't necessarily have that everywhere, because he's one of the top 3 in the nation. Right. And like I said, when I was told like with the heart monitors, stuff like that, and I was like, no, like something's still wrong. Like something's still bothering me. Like, so now I'm like, okay, straighten up, you're fine. Nothing's wrong with you. It's all in your head. And once again, you can, like I said, it wasn't that I didn't trust the doctors no, I didn't, because I wanted more. Like I knew that my head was still hurting and I wanted more.
I just wanted more. And
but you have to also realize that, once again, like I said, and I don't know all the answers. I know that right now there is not technology out there in a lot of ways to detect those things. I know that you've probably seen where even the oximeter that they do to test your pulse, it has a different success rate with African Americans. The darker the color of your skin, or the more tattoos you have on, the more the results can be skewed, saying that you're doing well when you're not doing as well. So sometimes the equipment, sometimes the services that are out there are not they're not always consistent. So what they may use at one university may not be at another university. What they may use in one environment may not be used in another environment. And the thing is, realistically, some student athletes don't have access to the same opportunities as other student athletes. So the thing is, how do you make it how do you make it so that one, students can have a voice and be understood, but number two, that the supports that are needed there are there to make sure that they are successful and okay, you know? Because you and I made it out. Praise God. They made it, we made it out. We have a purpose. But just think there are kids out there right now that may not make it out.
No.
So as they are going through this scenario, what is the message? What is the message to give them hope? And like I said, at UNC, I wanted more. The reason why I wanted more is because it wasn't getting better. My headaches were getting worse. And they were getting worse because once again, like I said, we looked at the whatever you call it, the aneurysm at one point, and it was a balloon. 6 weeks later, it was an omega. So because it's 6 weeks later, it was a coil and a stent instead of just a coil, we know that it's getting worse. So once again, like I said, I did because of my headache. So the question is, what can you tell students to do? One, what can you do? Tell them to give them hope. But then two, how can they make sure, like, what are some of the symptoms that you would recommend if you see this, you got to look out for it? Like, what are some of the things along the way?
I mean, just from my experience, all to know what to look for is, losing color, chest hurting, tiredness. Like, no matter what you do, you're tired. You want to sleep. I mean, that was all three of my signs.
Would you sleep or would you just lay down? Would you actually fall asleep?
No, I was in college, and I was a D1 athlete. So I mean, I had class, tutor, class, individual, class, practice, study hall, tutor. Like that was a schedule every day. So no, I just kept going. There was no I rested when it was time.
So I want to read a couple of facts about pulmonary embolism really quickly. So pulmonary embolism, that is when you actually have a blood impasse in your lungs. And it says athletes who use their arm muscles can get large muscles narrowing the passageway for the outlet of the blood. So it needs to go, the blood should go up through your heart, and it can't get through your heart because of it should go through your lungs and your heart, but it actually reaches an impasse because of the clotting. It actually starts at your legs and your knees. It said, I read that Chris Bosh actually had clots in his legs, and he was also hospitalized for clots in his lungs. He was 6'11", or is 6'11". Serena Williams, she 5'9". She had blood clots after delivering her daughter, Alexis Olympia. And if you are 6'2", if you're 6'2", I think you have like let me look at my notes real quick. 65, yeah. If you are 6'2", you have a 65% greater chance of having pulmonary blood clot than some of your peers. In Medscape, it said that in a Medscape article, September 2020, it said pulmonary embolism, the mortality rate for pulmonary embolism is 50% greater for African Americans than it is for whites. And whites, it is 50% greater than other minorities such as Asian and American Indian. Pulmonary embolism, untreated, it has a 30% mortality rate. If treated, it has an 8% mortality rate. 1 in 2,000 adolescents have a pulmonary embolism. And 50% of persons with deep vein thrombosis will end up with pulmonary embolism. So just some insight on the depth of this problem, and once again the opportunity for greater awareness and insight, especially with you playing volleyball and basketball. Those are both using your arm muscles, creating that opportunity for pulmonary embolism. With aneurysms, African Americans are twice as likely to suffer from an aneurysm than their peers. There was a Detroit Lions player. His name was T.J. Jones. He had high blood pressure, and he was going to the doctors, and the doctors were like, "Man, your blood pressure's high." He's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I'm an athlete. I'm just doing this. And as the doctor was telling him, now keep in mind, this is a professional sports doctor who's telling me, he's like, I'm not feeling comfortable with these numbers. he really was like, look, there's really nothing to it. And, I'm glad I got checked, keep moving. Shortly afterwards, his dad died of an aneurysm. And when his dad died of an aneurysm, he took it seriously. So once again, like I said, sometimes it's the resources out there. Sometimes it's, some people don't want to admit that they're having these symptoms. They don't want to admit that they're tired, that they've got, chest pains, etc. Because if I admit that, then guess what? I might not be able to keep my scholarship. And if I can't keep my scholarship, my parents can't afford to pay for it. So there are some people out there that have that aren't being forthright so that they can get the services that they need or can get the help that they need. Because once again, this is a very, very serious health condition.
Yeah, they looked at my charts and stuff to see if it was like hereditary or whatever, but the only thing they could think of was birth control or something like that.
Birth control caused it?
They think so, yeah.
Really? Wow. Think of how many women take birth control.
And I had the pill then, so they think it was the pill. So I can never take those again, they said.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm quite sure.
I can take any other kind, but just not the pills.
Wow. And like I said, just think of how many women are probably taking the pill that don't even realize that that's a possible side effect or an opportunity for pulmonary embolism.
Yeah.
So having been through what you've been through, which is a very, very traumatic experience. I mean, just freshmen getting adjusted to classes, getting adjusted to social life, getting adjusted to new coaches, getting adjusted to all these different things. And now you have this health condition on top of it. As a coach, how do you guide your players now so that as they, come across certain health concerns, that you're nipping it in the bud before it gets too bad, before it exasperates to something that may be much more harmful? Do you ever share your story about the pulmonary embolism?
I do. I do it to help to, show them how important it is to take care of yourself and to know your body. Because nobody's gonna know your body like the way you know your body. And I am hard on them. I push them. I make them, I do all the above. But I also make sure that I know my kids and their needs. And I make sure that they know themselves so that when the time does come, are you hitting adversity or are you actually in pain? Because sometimes athletes don't know the difference. Sometimes people think they're in pain and it's just they're just hitting adversity and they're sore, and it's not really pain, they're just sore. But those are usually the newcomers into the game. So I try to teach them to know the difference and to be aware of your body in general.
You think it's making a difference? Do you think they're getting it?
Yes, I do. They come in, ask for extra treatment and to take care of the bodies, ice baths, stretch, like everything. And at first they wouldn't even stretch before they even got on the court. And it's my first year with them, so it's actually a whole rebuilding process. So start from scratch, literally. So it's kind of a good thing because they can learn everything from top to bottom.
Think of how many lives you're impacting.
I'm trying.
Think of it. Because not only is your story helping them, but it's also helping the parents. Because guess what? If the parents aren't hearing it, if the parents aren't understanding it, the parents can always come to you and get more insight. The school can get more insight. So now people around you, you've created a village where you can actually spread knowledge and help make sure that people don't experience some of the long-term or worse results that could happen as a result of it, even preventative stuff. So yeah, that is. So you're like Coach Hero.
I use all of my experiences to the game of basketball.
Yeah.
And I try to teach the kids with it. And I'll say so far I've been successful.
And they come back and thank you?
They do. It's really the parents, because the parents can't get through to their own kids half the time. And they trust me to get through their kids with the game of basketball, and half the time the kid don't even know I'm getting through to them. But I use the game of basketball, and you don't even know what just happened, and it just prepared you for like a real life situation.
Wow.
It's more than just a game. Definitely.
Yeah, because they're learning how to follow directions. They're learning, you know, team skills or collaboration skills. They're learning
how to be a woman, like everything. Like, this game of basketball has brought me to my lowest, my highs, helped me travel, find people, cross paths, and most of all, it helped me find God, because your girl was senior year, I went through it because it was crazy. Nothing was happening the way I thought it was going to happen. My knees were jacked up. My lung hadn't fully recovered yet by senior year from being messed up. It was a lot. But when I went to Union, the coach used the game of basketball to help me find God. And he actually baptized me. So
wow.
it was yeah.
So how how did
I
that
really went from not trusting a coach to like a coach baptized me. It was crazy how God works. I'll put it that way. Like I'd always had, like, we were on our way to play a conference game, I'm pretty sure, in Florida. And I'd always, like, grew up, I would always see visions of me. Like, I would always say I would get baptized in the water, or like I would have a dream that I got baptized in the ocean, like not at church, but in the ocean. And we were going to Florida for our game, and I actually was sitting out because I had concussion. And
what?
so we didn't know if I was good to go or not. So I didn't find out till like maybe 10 hours before we were about to leave that I could go on the ride. And so when we got out there, we all went to eat as a team, and we went to the water, and me and this other girl got baptized by our coach.
But I didn't even know about the concussion. How did you find out you had a concussion?
Oh, this was my graduate year, so we're way past, graduate year. So this is at Union.
But how did you find out?
I had a concussion because at first, so my first concussion I ever had, I didn't know I had a concussion. I mean, I did know I had a concussion, but I didn't know the concussion protocols. I thought you were supposed to still live life to normal and drive and go to class. And so, like, and nobody ever told me no. And I was expected to be at practice to watch practice. So, like, when I get to Union, I get this concussion, and they're like, no practice, sit in your room, no class. And I'm just like, I'm like confused, actually. I'm like, I'm used to like being hurt and keep going. Like, you don't sit still. But I actually got the concussion because I went to help my teammate save a ball, and I saved the ball, actually, and we got a point off of it. I just went head first to the bleachers.
Oh my God. So was there a bruise or anything?
I had a cartoon knot. That's about it. It's not major.
So how did they know there was a concussion? What
once we got home, we did a concussion test. And I felt it bad.
And then how long did it take you to recover?
I was probably out 5 days to a week, probably a week.
Did you see the difference after the week?
Yeah, the sun didn't hurt no more.
Wow.
Like, actually, it was more of being on the phone, like text her, just look at your phone, period. Like, I couldn't do that.
Meaning, like, what did it look like? Was it blurred?
It looked like, you ever got your eyes dilated?
Probably, I don't remember.
Like when you go to get your eyes checked out and like they dilate your eyes, you put those glasses on your eyes to go outside in.
Uh-huh.
That's what it looks like without the glasses.
Everything?
Joe, just light. If like words had light on it, then it was blurred. And
you can't tell me that because I'm getting ready to go out and drive and light on words.
I've had 3 concussions.
And did they get worse with each one, or were they all the same?
I think my worst one was the first one.
And then how did you, so for any of them, did you do the light out thing, or was it only for the last one?
The first one I drove and everything. I went to class, I went to tutors, I went to practice, and that whistle was terrible actually. Those basketballs and whistles was terrible. Like that really hurt actually when I went to practice. I actually left practice. I left early because of that actually.
So loud sounds let you know that your concussion was still there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just walking outside in the light and it's like, you can't see. I mean, you can, it just takes a minute to adjust. It's terrible.
You're scaring me. You're scared. No, because
it's fine. I've had 3. I'm alive. We're good.
Wow. Like I said, you are that hero. But also keep in mind, your stories are going to help other athletes from heading down the same pathway. Yeah. And you know, your transparency is also going to help other athletes, because think of how many people have gone through this that haven't shared their story, and because they don't share their story, people don't know what to look for and know what's right and what's wrong. So
some people are scared to share their story. I used to be scared to share mine, honestly, until I wrote a book about it, and then I was able to get it off my chest.
Which book was that? Because you've written 2.
More than just a game, overcoming adversity.
That was a book where you kind of.
That's the one where I kind of told everything. No, I didn't tell everything. I sugarcoated the best way I could. That's it.
But you shared. So if young ladies or athletes are going through trials and tribulations, this book is designed to what?
Bring you through it, get you through it. I mean, I talk about being in pain and being ADD and being put on Adderall, and I mean, I told the whole, like, I let it out. If you're not even comfortable in your own skin, you should read this book, because everybody's going through something like close to you. Like at the end of the book, there's parts of Michaela Epps talks about her story and her playing, and Lene Harper talks about it, and Samari's in here, and Mackenzie can. I mean, China, like if you read it, somebody in this book is going to bring you through what you need to get through. No matter what you're going through, no matter what adversity you hit, you just got to have faith and keep God first and keep pushing on. And no matter what you go through, you're going to overcome it somehow, some way.
There are tools out to help you overcome it, but sometimes we don't have access to the tools. Sometimes we don't have access to the people. You know, when somebody's going through, I always say, when somebody's going through something, I say, God, you know, please put people in their life that are going to have true discernment to get them to whatever the next step is. Because, you know, you can have people in your life that can make a difference, but if they're not listening, they're not going to make a difference. They're just going to keep doing what they've done in the past. So I always ask for God to give them discernment and encouragement through the process, because once again, like I said, having those keys, having those tools help. So I want to ask you something. When did you uncover that you had ADD?
I didn't know until I got to, when I got to UK freshman year, they told me, they made me go through tests and stuff, and they're the ones who basically recognized that I was diagnosed with being ADD, and then I was eventually put on Adderall during that time.
Does that change your having that type of diagnosis? Does that change your perception of anything, your perception of other people, your perception of yourself, or anything like that?
I didn't care. I knew something. I knew, but I didn't think I had to be on medication for it. But no, I don't care. It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people out here, there's something wrong with them that you know nothing about, and you don't even know unless they tell you.
1 in 5 persons has a mental health concern. 1 in 5 persons has a mental health issue concern. This is 1 in 5 persons that have actually gone to a clinician and been diagnosed, etc. 1 in 5 persons. So there's a lot of people out here who have mental health challenges, opportunities for growth, etc. I guess I was just asking you because I know for me, sometimes with students, I can see a difference when they say they have a diagnosis or they have something different going on with them. And it's not a I'll give you an example. So I have two sons with autism, and my oldest son is he's autistic, but he was super duper smart. Like there wasn't nothing that you could do that he couldn't do. And so the teens that were around him would not accept any excuses, because the teens that work with him and my daughter, like we would go to the amusement parks and all this other kind of stuff, and they would not allow, we would go bowling, go roller skating, all this other kind of stuff, but nobody would allow, you know, Jay to make an excuse. Like I taught him how to roller skate, but we didn't allow him to make excuses behind a label. So all the other kids were like, look, Jay's doing more than the other kids. When he was little, he played pee-wee football. He was doing more than the other kids. But I think that sometimes when people look at a label instead of looking at the person, they miss the beauty of the person. And so I thank God that he was autistic and he didn't understand like some of the labels that people might put on, or the things that people may attribute to his diagnosis. Because Jay was funny as all get up. I'm telling you, we would go to the music park. He would get on every single roller coaster back to back to back to back to back. And I mean, just socialize and talk with everybody. Not so much talk like a conversation like you and I, but definitely high and that kind of stuff. Because he loved life, because we did not put any parameters around a diagnosis. And so that's why I asked you that with your own, you know, how did you feel with that? Because once again, like I said, you know, we just kept moving. And I will tell you that I have a family member who, when he was younger, he was actually given a diagnosis, and the doctor told him, as long as you play sports, that will curtail the ADHD. And so they kept him very, very active in sports, so that once again, so that once again he could process everything that's going forward. So do you have a special affinity for people who may have a diagnosis?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, no matter, I don't know, like, well, no matter what you have, like, just embrace it.
Right.
Because I mean, like, my ADD, like, nobody would know I was really ADD until you're like sitting here talking to me, and you're talking to, I'm really talking to you in full-blown conversation, and then you say something, I didn't hear nothing you said at all. And I'm just like, sorry. My brain went this way. Like, it's hard to focus sometimes, like, if I'm not interested or whatever. But
oh, that's not ADD. That's New Jersey. That's Northern. That's what I tell you.
Well, that's just a sample, okay. But like, embrace who you are. Like, you create this way for a reason. Like, you can help so many people just by the way you are. Generally, like, people try to be like other people and be this and look like this and act like this, and one day you just can't care. You just gotta enjoy what you have and what you don't have sometimes.
I'll tell you something.
It could be worse.
I'll tell you something. I always have an affinity for quote unquote the underdog. So I went to school in New Jersey, and where I went to school, it was so my high school had 1,700 students, 16 were African American. So, you know, there was no dating, no nothing. I mean, like, you know, I would have a boyfriend in another town, and that boyfriend would, by the time I got back to the town, he would have a girlfriend, you know, so we were just talking on the phone. So it was like phone dating. So I never really had a boyfriend. And even the past 2 years, I've been on 3 dates, 3 dates. And so
so I can say the same.
It's just, you know, and so I had one. Yeah. Well, look, there's only one worth really mentioning, but I'm just saying 3. But I have a true affinity for females and self-image. Because if I did not have the most amazing parents in the world to continuously tell me each and every day that I was beautiful, that I was good, etc., I could have had a very, very serious complex. So I was kind of popular in school. I was kind of cool. And so all my friends who were popular in school, they all have boyfriends. So imagine every day walking through the school and everybody's holding hands, they've got boyfriends, they've got Valentine's Day gifts, they've got this. So, I would always say I had a boyfriend in another town, and I would have quote unquote a boyfriend in another town, but he also had a girlfriend. So you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I ever really dated anyone, because they would talk to me one or two times and then they would realize that, look, I'm never going to see this chick. So they would just start dating somebody else. So I never really had a chance to do that whole, the whole relationship, marriage, whatever. I mean, even though I was married for 19 years, I never did that. So I am very, very big on women and their self-image, and just making sure that they know that they can, and that they're beautiful and they're amazing, no matter what size, color, shape you are, that you're beautiful and you're amazing, you have something to contribute. And I attribute that to, once again, me growing up, because, I've been in 3 fights in my life, and all 3 were over a guy. And so when I was in North Carolina, I went down to visit my cousins in North Carolina, and there was a guy, Torres, that we were writing one another back and forth. And so when I got to Cherryville, I said he was my boyfriend, and this girl Goober said, no, he's not. Boom, and knocked me in the head. So he was no longer my boyfriend. So that was number 1. And then number 2 was we were at Parsippany High School, and another African American female thought that I liked her boyfriend, or liked somebody that she liked, which I didn't like, because I was friends with everybody, because I couldn't have boyfriends. And so now keep in mind, there's only 16 Blacks in the school. And so she wound up fighting 3 of the Black females at the school. So that was one fight where she just kind of like knocked me out. And then my friend Lisa Lazarus, when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, so I came from East Orange, right? So everybody thought that I was like hood, because I came from East Orange, right? So I'm in Parsippany, which is, very like, conservative, and everybody's nice and all this other kind of stuff. So my friend Lisa Lazarus, and people, they had a lot of money too. So my friend Lisa Lazarus is like, this girl is bothering me and she wants to fight me. And Lisa's just like this teeny tiny thing. And I said, I'll get her. Where is she? Right? So I went up, and it was Michelle Esposito. Michelle, if you see this, I love you. We're like this, right? So Michelle Esposito, I said, why are you messing with Lisa? She said, because I don't like her. I said, but that's my friend, and you can't mess with her. Michelle said, boom. So that's my 3 fights. So one was not over a guy. One was over my quote unquote best friend at the time. But yeah, once again, like I said, I had that difficult time fitting in with females, because everybody always thought that I was trying to date their boyfriend, or I was trying to date their husband. But I've always been that person who's just been friendly towards everybody, because that's what I do. I just talk to everybody. My parents raised me to talk to everybody. So because I talk to them, they think I want them. So,
yeah.
Once again,
I used to have insecurities. I mean, the 2 boyfriends I did have cheated on me, and actually caught both of them in action. And
wow.
Instead of me getting punched, they got punched. But yeah. So I mean, people probably back then was like, she probably think, back then, I mean, there was times I didn't like myself. Yeah, I did it. I did the punching. The good Lord's changed me, okay?
Just FYI, I'm changed. But
yes, been single ever since, actually. I'm enjoying that right now. But yeah.
Really? Wow. But
I am very big on, like, my players, I tell them all the time, have confidence, know your worth. Like, don't let anybody tell you what your worth is. You know your worth. So I make sure, I instill that a lot in them too.
So through your book, through your clothing, through your book, clothing, and clinic, are you seeing a difference? Are you seeing like greater confidence? Are you seeing people walk out, or reading your book and saying that they feel stronger or better? Or
yeah, actually I've had several people come back to me after reading the book and was like, thank you, like, that's what I need to hear, that's what I needed to know. And like on the back of the book, more just a game of overcoming adversity, like it says, you are not what has happened to you, what happened to you was only molding you to the person you were destined to be. Because sometimes we get lost in what's happening to us, and we forget who we are and what we were chasing and our main goal in the end is.
So you're here. I mean, well, you're here. You've done a lot of different things. What do you think is the next step for you? Where do you think you'd like to go?
I don't know. Sometimes I think it's college coaching, because that's where a lot of mental health is going on at.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches who are not even invested into the personal life of players and get to know them personally on a personal level to even make them better players and women off the court. And I see how well I can get to the high school, middle school, whatever age it is. And at that point, college players, they need somebody who's been there and experienced it and knows how to overcome adversity at the end of the day. Because when you get to college, it's nothing but adversity.
Right. And they need somebody who's going to be transparent, because as you're going through all these other layers around you and all these different changes, you need somebody who's going to be like, where you can just kind of exhale instead of being guarded in that conversation, you know, and you can be like, look, you know what, I'm afraid of losing my scholarship. You know, I'm afraid of the financial impact. I'm afraid of the injury. I'm afraid that, you know, somebody who's actually been through that and experienced that and who's not going to judge you. Because
you'll be surprised how many players are actually scared to go talk to their coaches in college.
Really scared to talk about what?
Personal stuff. Anything. I mean, it could be basketball. And most of them have read the book and have come and talked to me and was like, you know, what should you do? And I would give them advice. Even things that I wish I would have done differently, I would tell them what I did do and what I wish I would have done. I don't always tell them what to do, because that's not my place to tell to do. Like, that's something you need to pray about. So not like, most of the time. But I do tell them like, my experience, what happened, or whatever the situation is at hand. And I like tell them what I did, how to get through it, or, you know, just to walk them through the steps, because there's not a lot of people out here you can trust with your life and your personal life, and trust them to go out and not tell anybody, or go tell the head coach, or whatever situation may be. Like, you gotta build relationships with people. You have to. It's a must.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was listening to the NCAA conference, the virtual conference for 2021. And one of the things that they were saying is that there are certain coach, and it was the Black Student Athlete Summit. It was one of those two conferences. And one of the things that they were saying is that there are a lot of coaches who are like middleman coaches who are just hired to handle like the specific group. They're not necessarily empowered to make a change and do, you know, whatever. So even when they're getting frustrated in their job, because even when players come and talk to them, there's really and truly nothing that they can do to help them, because they're not empowered to do it. So, you know, what is the vehicle to empower coaches to make a difference when, you know, when students really need the help? And like I said, your transparency, your books, your vehicles, your pathways to affirmation or validation of who you are can probably be very, very helpful in a larger scope. You know, even if you did lectures at colleges or something like that. I mean, it's just, once again, like I said, it's a very, very powerful stuff. As I was reading through your bio, and now even talking to you and hearing the different things, like I never knew about the concussion or the concussions that you've experienced. You're one tough kid. Yeah. So I have to be nice to you because I don't want you to punch me.
Oh no, I'll change. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's still there. But I don't know. No, I don't get mad that easy. It takes a lot for me to get mad. So I'm not about that life no more. But it's really good talking to you though, seriously, because like I can see the other sides of people who's dealt with the blood clot situations and how they overcame it. And you've taught me a lot about blood clots, because after I learned that it could kill me and get to my heart, I stopped there. I was like, I don't want to know more else. I just want to know that I'm taking care of my body and it's not gonna happen again.
You didn't give up basketball. You still wanted to play basketball. You still had the passion for basketball.
Yeah, so I'm a coach now.
Right.
Physically, my 65-year-old knees, according to the MRIs, won't make it. But I still play when, like, if it's a charity or something, I'll play. As long as I don't play 3 games in 1 week, I'm good.
Wow. Wow. Well, you got one game you have to play. And I want to say this before it's over with. And Samari Walker, I hope and pray you are listening to this. Samari was talking, she was talking much junk about how she's going to play left-handed and still beat me and all this other kind of stuff, which she probably could. I'm not going to lie. But she was talking about how she was going to beat me. So she's given me a challenge and I've given her a challenge, and it's the game horse that we're going to play. And I told her that if my back hurts, I need substitutes. And I told her that you and Coach Pillow were going to help me and be my backup. So there's one game that you need to play. If you don't play anything else, I need your support against Samari, because
listen, even if she loses, she's still not gonna be quiet. So you still gotta hear
it. No, that's a look. Look, if I win, I'll put up a big old sign saying winner and label the competition and put it on my social media stuff. I'm a sore winner. But listen, you have, like I said, you have provided so much insight. And and as an educator, I forgot to say that you're an education major. Am I correct? No. What was your major?
Marketing and advertising, and a minor in psychology.
Oh, minor in psychology. Oh, wow. Get out. Okay. Well, I saw education somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, but anyway, with all your experience, with all your insight, with all your passion for the game as well, you have a story to tell. You have a lot to share. So if people wanted to talk to you to find out more about your story, have you come speak for their audience, or just, work with you, just getting some advice, basketball, etc., how can they contact you?
I have a website, and that is www.kyvin-Goodin-Rogers, ROGERS.com, or I have social media. You can type in Kyvin, I'll pop up, because you type in KYVIN, I'll pop up literally. Or you can also email me at the Kywear, KYWEAR17 @gmail.com.
What was the inspiration for Kywear?
Kywear stands for keeping you wise, eager, and ready.
I read that. So I wrote that down, but I didn't figure out that was the acronym. Okay.
So, but when I was in high school, somebody used to call me Kybear. And then right after I come home, freshly out of knee surgery, actually, and my mom's driving me around because I'm still crippled. And she says something, and she goes, Kywear, why don't you just do Kywear? And I'm like, cool. And then one day I'm sitting in my room and I write down Kywear, and I'm like, well, what do these letters stand for? And so I go down, for like, it took like 10 minutes. I was like, I figured it out. I was like, this is what it means. This is what's going to mean. And ever since then, I've been running with it.
I love it. I love it. So if they want to find out about Kywear, how can they find out about Kywear as well?
Kywear, you can find Kywear on Instagram at Kywear, LLC, or you can find it on Facebook as Kywear as well. You also see Kywear stuff on my website as well.
And your books, if they want to purchase your book?
My books are also on the website. If you don't want to go there, you go to Amazon. They're on Amazon as well. The first one was More Than a Game, Overcoming Adversity. And then the second one is 15 Ways to Dream Chase. This one is the one that helps kids or whoever needs it, how to go chase your dreams and don't let nothing stop you. And when you get inside of it, it has places for you to write whatever you need to do. And like after you read the passage is literally like a page or two. And it asks you, it says, what are some ways you can be a hard worker? What sacrifices will you make for your dreams? If you had, who will be included in your circle? Like, it's just ways to get rid of the toxic stuff that you don't need to get to where you're trying to get to.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you also have a sports clinic coming up May 29th.
Yes, May 29th at Martha Lane Collins High School in Shelbyville, Kentucky. I'll have some former WNBA players there, NBA overseas, former D1 from Xavier, from UK, from Western, whatever. But the people who I'll come, I'll always make sure they're people with good hearts and good intentions and have good intentions for the kids, because I need to build an army that wants to help kids get to where they're trying to get to, as well as being transparent with them and showing them the way.
What is the name of the camp?
That's Kyvin.
And so how many
Kyvin
years?
Skills Clinic.
How many years has this been going on?
This is year 3, 2 or 3. I think it's 3.
And so, what would they expect? Like if I were to do this camp, how long is the camp? I saw it's like 1st grade to 12th grade, right?
Yes, and there's 3 different sessions. So it's like 1st and 4th grade, and 5th through 8th grade, and 9th through 12th grade. And it's 2 hours long. The first hour and 15, 20 minutes is all nothing but skill work. You're straight working, breaking a sweat, being taught, being guided by different people. And then we play like a 20-minute game, and towards the end we sit down and have a talk and try to give kids advice and walk them through behind the scenes stuff that happens in college that they don't really see as much, like the schoolwork, preparing to be a student athlete, not an athlete student, and continue to just inspire them, because some kids don't even have a dream, right? Because they haven't seen it that you have a dream. So there's times, several times I'll let kids come for free who can't afford it, so they can see something to hopefully inspire them, or hear somebody. There might be 2 words they needed to hear that day. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. So with that camp, is that typically local people, or do people come from out of town as well for it?
People come out of town. Usually all over Kentucky. You never know. They might drive 2 hours. They might drive 20 minutes. They might drive 4. It gets out to different people, depending. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big, depending on what time of the year it is. But I don't care about the big or small crowds. I'm work because whoever's supposed to be there is supposed to be there, and that's who's supposed to work with at that moment. And we make sure that whoever's come is, given everything they needed during that time. Like, it's not here just to get your kids or collect your money or go through little stuff. Like, you're actually going to be put through a college workout. You're going to get better. We have so much energy at that camp. Like, kids forget how hard they're working sometimes. Wow. And it's fun. It's always fun. It's very inspirational.
But you have multiple camps. It's not just the one on May 29th.
No. There's multiple. They pop up. It's like a pop-up shop.
Love it. Cool. So how many times did you zone out on me? How many times did I get boring?
I probably only zoned out once, and that's because I forgot I didn't do something.
Okay. So I was okay. I was okay with this.
You're fine. Right? Yeah. Oh, you would have known, because you'd have been like Kyvin. I'm like, oh, you would have known.
Really? Okay. Well, good. Look, I'm so glad, because look, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not gonna say it. I'll tell you offline. But no, I'll say it. But one time, I'll tell you something. One time, somebody was interviewing me, and I was like literally like falling asleep. So, so I was trying really hard, but I was like, okay, yeah. And I had a
teammate fall asleep during film one time. It was pretty funny.
Really? Wait, while you're watching films?
Like with the coach, and they were like, they were not like, they was asleep.
Wow. Yeah, so I'm from New Jersey, and I'm kind of like, a little bit more high energy. They probably would have diagnosed me or something, but I'm a little bit more high energy. So when something is at a lower tempo, unless if you're saying something bang, 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 I go a lot. So sometimes I might get a little sleepy, but anyway, listen, you are beautiful. You are dynamic. You are a hero. God has given you a second chance at life. I mean, you've been through so much, and you have so many stories, and everything is so rich. I wish you the best of luck with everything. If there was anything else that you could leave as a nugget, something else you'd like to share with people before we end, something that I forgot to mention or whatever, what would it be?
Always put God first. Because no matter what, nobody here is going to tell you or tell you what you need to do or how you need to do it. Only person that really knows is God. Like, before you do something, don't go ask all your friends and family and everything. Like, go pray about it first. Because even though we all think we have all the answers, we don't have all the answers. Sometimes what we think somebody should do is not what he's asking for them to do. And always just have God first before you do anything. Pray about it. Pray and play.
Yeah, yeah. And if I could just say one thing on to that, is that it's amazing that when you put God first and when you talk to him, sometimes the avenue that he gives you is like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, I would never said that. And I'm like
this, he knows I didn't read in high school and college. And then he got me write 2 books. I don't do that. He knows I don't read. I do now, but I didn't. I couldn't stand it. So he leads you to where he wants you to be and what he wants you to do if you just listen to him.
And then you will find out that, it was an amazing opportunity. Saturday, I did not want to go to the gym. I did not want to go to the gym. I did not want to go to the gym. And because I think I may have strained something. I didn't want to go to the gym. I went to the gym and I met somebody who's a coach that's like, look, I want to talk to you. I want to help you. And it just blew me away because I went at that particular time, which was a time when I had prayed and God was like, get up and go to the gym. So, but once again, like I said, you got a phenomenal story. You've given so much insight. I wish you the best of luck with everything. And we'll talk because we got to beat Samari. We got to beat on the court.
I'll be ready.
Yeah. But we will, but like I said, we will definitely be in touch. And I thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
If there's anything I can do, just let me know.
Thank you. Same for you.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Wait, it's still recording. I don't know how to stop.